Hey everyone, it's time for the weekly video. Nothing too in-depth this week. A few arrivals did come along, but I don't know much about them. They were blind buys, mostly. And if anyone has any opinions or tips, then please let me know. You and Me is the first one. These are all from Indicator, by the way. It was the bundle of the month, so I went for them. When Tomorrow Comes. This has this one with Fred Astaire, yeah. You'll Never Get Rich, Fred Astaire and Rita Hayworth. It's got to be worthwhile. And The Lady Is Willing, Marlene Dietrich and Fred McMurray. So I know people in all of these. Irene Dunn and Charles Boyer. George Raft is in this one with Sylvia Sidney. And I am looking forward to making time for them. The other day, I finally watched a film in the Todd Slaughter box set in the cinema room. I watched Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. And you know what? It was great. It was really good. Todd Slaughter did that role on stage, I believe, for hundreds of performances. And he is the sort of person you can enjoy while they are backing away, looking menacingly and ready to scheme. I didn't notice any overt reference to what was in Mrs. Lovett's pies, but you do get people eating a lot of pies, and you do get talk about the pies. So I think they skirted around that issue, but kind of gave a nudge because everyone should know about the pies in the Tale of Sweeney Todd. So yeah, that was really good. Unless I missed a line of dialogue, but you could put two and two together there and come up with your own answer without it being on full display as it was, the mid-1930s. I think it was 1936. So I've got more Todd Slaughter movies that I will hope to enjoy at some point. I got the book to read with that package, so I'll look forward to that sometime soon. We're already gearing up for October with the podcast. We will have some guests. We will obviously be keeping the focus on horror as we do. So it takes quite a bit of planning. It's a little bit more because we often have at least one or two extra movies per week. So we like to do that. And I've reached out to one or two people. Between us, we've collectively reached out to people we've had on before and perhaps a new visitor to the podcast. So that will be good fun and exciting. And we always hope that they can just put up with our level of nonsense and maybe meet us in the middle, because we know that we don't have the polish sometimes or professionalism of some other podcasts. But other podcasts were all talking about Silence of the Lambs lately, and Instagram was full of photos of the new Blu-ray release and people were discussing it, and I kept listening along thinking, it is such a great film. Every time people discussed elements of the film, I was like, yeah, that is great. It's a classic. It's a modern classic. Yes, I can just rewatch that anytime. So, of course, I had to give in and get the new set, which is full of the featurettes and extra features from the old releases, as far as I can tell, plus a couple of new things on there. So, great. It's a perfect package for fans of The Silence of the Lambs. Looks really good. Just a great film though, isn't it? That's what I hope that we do occasionally on the podcast. I think we'd like to remind people of films out there that exist that maybe don't always get brought up in the film conversations that often, as was the case this week with Resolution. I know Dave wanted to really cheer on his pick, Kill, that we enjoyed, but we enjoyed Resolution more. And that, I think that's slightly faded since Benson and Morhead have gone on to do more and more projects and their stars have risen. I think Resolution is a really good starting point for their careers. Shows the talent and the creativity they had back then, and still has fans, but it just doesn't seem to be mentioned so much now. It's way back when compared to where they are now. And I like that we had a conversation about it, that we we pick our way through, we muddle through things. But the main point is sometimes the conversation itself rather than the details of the conversation. So we mentioned Resolution. I mentioned that it's bundled in with the Arrow release of The Endless, which is a lovely package for fans of Benson Morhead. Maybe people think, oh yeah, I'll see if that Blu-ray set is available at a decent price. I'll have a look. Or maybe they just think, I've not seen that for a while, I'll rewatch it. They might end up reappraising it slightly. They might not. Maybe they end up checking it out for the first time. Whether it's on a streaming service or whether they have to borrow it from a friend or dig around and find it. And there's a ripple effect from that, hopefully. I think that's the point of doing a movie podcast. You can also discuss new movies and cover them, and that's good too. That's why we enjoy some of the conversation in the "What have we watched this week" section. But I think the real pleasure comes from reminding people of films that they've either forgotten about or they maybe weren't aware of. And that's what we hope to do sometimes. I know sometimes we pick films just to potentially hurt each other on the podcast, but that also just gets them discussed. I mean, Tyler. If you've listened to the podcast, you know that his pick for this week is What's Up Rockers, which is another Larry Clark film. I think we've got about 2 Larry Clark films to go, and then we'll be done with Larry Clark for a while. I mean, I was done with Larry Clark about a decade ago, but here we are. So Tyler likes the fact that he gets to wax lyrical about the films that he likes, that were either important to him or they're just in tune with the vibe he likes. And we often strongly disagree with Tyler, but it's good. It's all part of the process. For Tyler, the fact that film is mentioned and discussed, whether or not we all side with him or against him, is the reason that he picks them and he gets to watch stuff that he enjoys. So yeah, I think that's what podcasts really do when they're discussing movies, and that's what we aim to do. And I hope if you're listening to a lot of different podcasts, you aren't quite as easily swayed as I am, and spending too much and stuffing the cinema room shelves too much. But if you have the money and the space, then actually, yeah, I hope you are just the same as me. And I hope we have caused you to pick up a couple of movies. That's a win-win. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'm not sure what the video will be next week, or if there will be a video this week, because circumstances dictate there could be a slight change of schedule. But until then, take care of yourselves, be well, see you when I see you.